Hello. So, Robert Jenrick, the current Shadow Justice Secretary, said that we can't rely on the small boat migrants to be law-abiding citizens who drink tea at 3 o'clock every day and act like gentlemen when finding themselves alone in a confined space with a woman. In fact, he went on to say that not only can we not rely on these chaps to act in an integrated way, but we can't even rely on them not to be card-carrying combatants for a foreign entity. No shit, Sherlock. And I'm Granniopteryx. Please like, share and subscribe. Like this channel. Share it. I understand you can share it on all sorts of platforms, including Facebook, so do that. And subscribe, of course. And if you want to contribute financially, that's very nice. All links about how to do so are in the description. But please, a really important thing that you can do for me, absolutely gratis, is to share. Facebook, Twix, whatever. Now for the Right Honourable Robert Jenrick's startling revelations. He was the former immigration minister, and he didn't seem too bothered about things when he was the immigration minister, but he now has claimed that individuals linked to Islamic State had waltzed right into Britain across the Channel. You could knock me down with a feather. And the Home Office, it says here, tried to silence him after he said terror suspects had arrived in Britain on small boats. Perhaps I'm overconfident in humanity, but I rather think that most sensible people would have worked that out quite a while ago. But, well, politicians aren't what they used to be, by the looks of things. But as slow as our lawmakers might be, those guys at the Home Office look to be a lot slower, because when Jenrick came out with his critique of the migrant issue, the Permanent Secretary, Sir Matthew Rycroft, said that Jenrick had done wrong because, he said, national security takes priority over public disclosure. Now, it says here, the Home Office has neither confirmed nor denied the veracity of Mr. Jenrick's claims, and it is understood to have had concerns that they could undermine national security. In his letter, Sir Matthew argued that the former immigration minister was bound by rules that prohibit the disclosure of sensitive information, including the Ministerial Code and the Official Secrets Act. Now, I'm not a civil servant, and nor do I have a knighthood, so I suppose that makes me quite a few rungs less elevated than Sir Matt here. But, well, to my obviously very simple mind, I cannot work out how the good sir managed to come to the conclusion that we'd all be safer walking around in ignorance. In fact, I'm so bemused by that idea that I've come to an entirely different conclusion altogether. Frankly, my take on the Home Office's handbag clutching is that they're doing that not so much because of issues of national security, but because they're more worried about what makes the government comfortable than they are about what keeps the public safe. So the Home Office complained that somehow Jenrick's theory that some dinghy migrants might not have the best of intentions, that talking about it could compromise investigations. They also said it could compromise surveillance and intelligence sharing with other states. By the same token, no one should acknowledge the existence of shoplifting, adultery or plagiarising your homework from Google AI. Even more surrealistically, The Home Office said Jenrick's statements could warn terrorist networks that the security services know about them. I mean, does anyone not know there are terrorist networks in operation here in the UK? I mean, does anyone not know that? What is the Home Office thinking? I'll tell you what I think. The civil service is about as impartial as a Soviet commissariat, and the Home Office's attempts to suppress Jenrick's claims that migrants with dangerous Islamist links have come here illegally, well, that has nothing to do with public safety, the secret services or foreign cooperation. And it's got much more to do with the Home Office hiding something from us. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something behind all of this now. It's just gone too far for it to be a simple mistake. Mind you, the cupidity of the Home Office doesn't put Jenrick here in the clear so far as I'm concerned. I don't believe that his motives are all that pure, quite frankly. Drawing attention to the woeful incompetence of the Labour Party and the migrant crisis that, well, legislation is making me a bit nervous of mentioning, whatever, pointing all this out is as easy and as obvious as pointing out Eddie Izzard might be calling himself Susan now, but that doesn't make him one of those any more than it makes him one of these. So, my take on Jenrick's sudden conversion to muscular conservatism is that he has two goals in mind here. One would be to convince those Tories wavering towards reform that the Conservatives have seen the light and are now, at last, and too late, into controlling borders and immigration. And the second would be to bolster his pitch for leader of the party in due course. But there's just one small problem. Much as I'm glad to hear the right honourable gentleman speaking out about this subject, which needs, but will not get, a lot more discussion, I don't actually believe him. And I doubt many of those other wavering Conservative voters would believe him either, for all that he's framing himself as a warrior defending the British people from the perfidious civil service. Don't forget that it was the Conservatives who came up with this blasted online safety bill in the first place, and they were the ones that let the Home Office get completely out of hand. You see this article here. Donald Trump's administration has said it is greatly concerned about free speech in Britain after the Telegraph exposed a secretive Whitehall unit spying on critics of migrant hotels. On Thursday, it was revealed that civil servants monitored social media posts about asylum hotels and two-tier policing during the Southport riots last year. That sort of operation couldn't have been set up in the short and completely chaotic time that the Labour Party's been in power. At the very least, the scaffolding would have been there under the Tories' watch. Now, something else has come to light. Representative Jim Jordan recently published an email. It could be some sort of elaborate hoax, but I doubt it. It appears to be a communication from the UK to a media company. Well, look, it's first of all, this is a department of the government. The department, this address here, it's been redacted, but that says Department of Science and Technology. That's a legitimate government department. And it was sent on the 3rd of August 2024, which means it was sent less than a month after the Labour Party had taken over I was going to say taken over the reins of government, but if I had that sort of control of a horse that this government has of anything at all, I'd have been dead a long time ago. Anyway, it appears, this message here appears to be a veiled instruction to suppress discussion and misleading information about instances of social unrest following Southport. It says here, concerning narratives about the police and a two-tier system, you know, like that doesn't really exist, it's just malicious gossip. It says here, we're keen to understand what content you're seeing across your platform and any measures you've taken in response. So, yeah, anything in other words, why aren't you damping this down? And as I said, this is less than a month after Starmer's government had got in. So, yeah, it definitely proves the machinery was there long before the Labour government let it loose to do its worst. And Jenrick expects us to trust the Conservatives with a return to power. He expects us to trust him. He was the immigration minister. Now, I have to tell you, I don't trust Farage. I don't trust reform either. But with Labour and the Conservatives, it's not even a matter of trust. I know they're unfit for power. Well, what do you think? All right, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.